Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, as you guys can see from the title below, I will be showing you guys how I made a dress from scratch. This will be a DIY vloggy type style of video. It's not going to be a tutorial because I was literally doing trial and error. So this is the dress that I decided to make in the end. I really love the way it came out. It is inspired by the Gia Halley dress, I believe. I've been seeing it all over my feed and I kept eyeballing it, so I wanted to try it out. So the first thing I did was literally do a quick little scribble sketch of what I wanted the dress to look like. So I literally just did that super quickly. And then once I was happy with my little sketch, I decided to draw up my measurements to make a pattern, because obviously that's where we gotta start. So I kind of liked the silhouette / shape of my bralette, but I wanted the corners of the dress to be a bit more angled. So I'm just measuring across my chest, which was 9.5 inches. And then I measured I think it was 3.5 inches up from that point, so I have like a little strap, and then I just grabbed my pattern paper and transferred all the measurements onto the pattern paper. So I just did half of 9.5 inches, and then I did the 3.5 inches up, and then I'm just using my curve pattern tool to do all my curves. And I'm also using my bralette and a fitted dress that fits me really well as like my main template. And then for the side seams, I add 2 inches to the side, as that's going to be the tunnel for our ruching. And then I just add 1/2 inch seam allowance to the rest of the measurements. And then once I was happy with all my measurements, I went ahead and cut it out. So my initial idea was to do just 2 pieces and then just sandwich them together and hem it, but then I realized it's going to be a horrible pain to hem that neckline, so I decided to do a lining. So in the end, I decided to cut out 4 of these pieces. So I decided to sew down the side of one piece and then sew down the side of another piece. Now I'm sandwiching them together by doing right sides together and only sewing along the top hem of the dress, if that makes sense. I'm sorry guys, this pattern is really confusing, so yeah, it kind of hurts your eyes after a while. But anyway, I went to my sewing machine and sewed all along the top hem of the dress. Then once I was done with that, I had to get out my little kind of straps that I had made, but because they're so fiddly and tiny, I had to do my little turnover loop trick by using a safety pin. So I just hooked the safety pin to the top of the strap that I made, and then I'm just pushing it through the other end until it comes out of the other side, until it comes out of the right side of the dress. And then once I am done with that, I'm sorry guys, this bit is so confusing. Like watching this footage back, I'm like, what is happening? So instead of sandwiching the fabrics right sides together vertically, you're going to turn the dress horizontally towards you, and then you're going to I sandwich the 2 pieces together in order to make my dress a whole dress, if that makes sense. That little brown thing in the middle, I will explain what that is later. So that is basically what I did. And then once I turned it right sides together, I found this handbag strap that was literally just lying around my house, and it was just sitting there, and I was staring at it for ages. So I was like, oh, let me use that as a strap. So as you can see, the two little straps at the back I didn't really like. I feel like I probably wanted it more as a halter neck top, so I was just playing around with the shape of it and what I wanted for ages, and I think I decided on the halter neck. So I decided to get rid of the straps at the back by literally just doing a straight stitch across the back hem, so literally just cutting that bit off, and then I repeat the same step on the other side, and then I turn it back right sides together again. So once I had done that, I realized that the lining was just a bit too thick, and I only needed it on the top half of the bust area. So I really wanted some advice, and my mum said just cut the lining away. So from the waist down, I decided to cut away the lining because it just made it too thick, and it was a bit harder to add the ruching at the side, as it would have been 2 layers of fabric. So I decided to just cut it away. So that was gone. So once that was gone, I decided to measure where I wanted my ruching to start. So I started to start from my waist area down to the length of the dress, and that came up to be 18 inches, if I'm correct. Yes, 18 inches. And then I turned my dress back inside out again, and then I just measured from the bottom all the way up to 18 inches and marked with a pin. And then once I was happy with that, I decided to fold over my tunnels like so, just folding over the seam allowance that I made on the pattern. So I'm just folding and pinning until I get all the way to the top. And then I had something that looked like this, so I just went along to my sewing machine, I sewed along the sides. So once I done that, it was time to make my little string for my drawstring. So I just cut out some excess fabric. I think my drawstring was about 1.5 inches wide, and I doubled the measurements of the length of my dress. So when I said to you guys that it was 18 inches, I just doubled it, which was 36. And then once I had made my little string, again I did the same technique where I'm putting the safety pin through the top in order to turn the string right sides together. This is probably the most tedious thing, but it's really, really handy trick, and I love doing it all the time. It's so satisfying to do it. I don't know why, but it is. So I just attach my safety pin to the top as far down as you can, because you really don't want it to rip inside the tunnel. That is your worst nightmare. But anyway, and then you just start to push your safety pin down through your little tube, and then you keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you get down to the other end. And then once you're through the other end, you just want to give it a little tug, not too hard because you will rip the fabric and the seams will burst. Just gently pull the fabric through like so, if it will come out. It takes a minute. You just have to, there you go, and then you just gradually keep pulling and pulling, and then you got yourself a drawstring. So I'm so sorry guys, I didn't get any footage of me inserting the drawstring. The footage completely disappeared. I will insert a video down below in the description of how I do a drawstring. But anyway, so this is the little bag strap that I had just lying around my house. I really liked the little hooks at the end of it, and they are very similar to the Halley dress that I saw online that I really liked, and I thought it was a really nice detail to add to the dress. So those little babies at the end of that faux leather strap will be mine. So I just decided to get my scissors and cut it away from the strap. And then once I had done that, I decided to measure the width of the strap, because obviously I need to make some straps to attach to it. So I ended up measuring about 1.5 inches, because once I fold it over, it will be exactly that measurement. So once I had done doing that, repeat the same step that I did with the drawstring by pulling the loop through, made my strap, and now I'm just adding it to these little hook hoop rings. I don't really know what to call them, but that's what they are. And then I went to my sewing machine and sewed that to the ring, but with the little strap that's actually attached to the dress that I had on the pattern. I decided to hand sew that. As you guys can see, it's so fiddly. Once I'd finished sewing it, it basically will look like this. So you're just adding the hook to the strap like so. So I did a hand stitch on this part, and then I sewed the rest on the sewing machine. And then this is basically what my dress was looking like, and I was really happy with it. So all I had left to do was deciding on the measurement of the strap at the back. I made my strap extra long because I kind of wasn't sure what I wanted to do, whether I wanted it to kind of make a crisscross detail at the back, whether I just wanted it across my shoulders. I was debating for ages, but in the end I decided to just do it along the back of my neck, and then I just measured where I wanted it to be, and then I cut it and sewed, and then I was done.